What's up, guys? Well, this is my friend's computer. I went to his house to go fix it, and I apparently did something to it because it wouldn't boot up. I got halfway through diagnosing it when I decided, hey, you know what? This would actually probably make for a good YouTube video. So far, I tried a different power supply first. It still did it because that was my first thought was, I must have fried the power supply or something. And plus, that power supply was super dusty when I got there. He does an okay job dusting this stuff, but I can't, expect him to be picking up his computer and moving it to, like, dust the, get the dust thing for the power supply down there. So, anyway. What I've discovered, though, is, unfortunately, it is the motherboard. I also thought it might be the RAM because I kept getting a RAM LED on the little LED screen that the motherboard has when it boots. So it just wouldn't post at all. It would just sit there and it would just boot loop over and over and over and over and over and over again. But it wasn't the RAM. So took one of the RAM sticks out, which was also one of the main things I was doing. I was upgrading his water cooler and his RAM from 2400 megahertz RAM up to 3000 megahertz RAM. But anyway, it's the motherboard. No matter what RAM you use, no matter what you do, it will not accept more than one stick in that first slot. Anything else, and boot loop, boot loop, boot loop. And I've tried installing the new BIOSes and all that stuff, and it still doesn't. So anyway, we've got a new motherboard ordered for him. But in the meantime, I figured as a apology, I would upgrade him to a much better case, that old case that I used to use. So let's start transporting all of that stuff into the new case. Well, as soon as we get the motherboard, but for you guys, that'll be like in 2 seconds. All right, well, we got everything taken out of the old computer case and all of that. Gotta dust that up a little bit. It looks nasty. I'm not gonna give my friend a nice case that's all like nasty and dusty. But I'm glad to see this case get used some more. It's one of my highest rated videos on YouTube is the review for that case, actually. Anyway, I want to get that cleaned up, and then we can get to putting the motherboard in and getting the water cooler bracket attached before I bother putting it in there, in fact. Okay, let's get his CPU back in. It is a 8700K. It's an oldie but a goodie. Super simple. Just leave the little black thing on there. Look for the little, there will be a little triangle telling you which way it goes. Just line that up. Line that up with everything. Drop that down. Plop that down. Usually that thing will plop completely off, but it didn't that time. But usually that'll plop completely off by itself. And there you go. You've just installed a CPU. Alright, well, we've got the motherboard and cooler and cords all hooked up. I just did all that off camera real quick. Now we just have to add 16 gigs of Vengeance LPX DDR4 memory. So let's see. Didn't read the instructions. Normally you'd read the instructions on the manual on which one to put them in, but I'm going to assume the ones with the gigantic armor around them are more than likely the ones they intend. Boom, just wait and hear it click, and you are good to roll. Oh, nope, it's going to be that way. You just have to line a little notch up. And there we go. We can just pop those two back up, and bam! Now the RAM is installed. Okay, now we're going to tidy up these cords so the glass side panel can close, and so it looks a lot nicer. So we got all of the cables all tidy. Down there seems to tend to be a little bit of a cably mess, but that's where the power supply cables come out. So it's kind of where I shoved them all. There's really nowhere else to go. It's a glass side panel on the side, so I don't want it to look terrible. So now I'm just going to dust a little bit around the back here, and then we're going to put the glass on. Alright, well, we got everything put back together. All the fans are working. CPU is nice and chilly. Now all I gotta do is I need some combs for the cables to make them look a little bit more nice. But beyond that, I'd say it looks pretty freaking cool and a huge improvement to his old computer. So let's go and see what the temps are like. Just got done running Cinebench a couple of times in a row. Mind you, this is just stock, haven't overclocked yet, but we maxed out at 53 degrees Celsius, which is a hell of a lot better than he used to get. We used to get like 87 to 90 degrees Celsius with his old single 120. Even though it was in push-pull. It had weird mismatch fans, and yeah. Certain things iBuy Power does okay, but certain things they do pretty terribly, in my opinion. But, such is life when you don't feel like building your own computer. From now on, I think he's probably just going to have me build them for him. Anyway, though, let's get the panels back on and take one final look. And then get Windows reinstalled. This is just kind of running on some old version of Windows I had, because I also upgraded him to a M.2 drive and a 2 terabyte hard drive versus 1 terabyte and 240 gig SSD. So now he's running 512 gigabytes M.2 and a 2 terabyte 7200 RPM hard drive. Should be plenty of space for games and whatnot. Alright, that's it for the quick look around of it. It still needs something. I think it needs some RGB strips. I'm going to see if I've got some lying around, because it's a little too dark when looking over there, except for when the back two fans light up, then you could kind of see everything. But right now it's a little too dark in there with all the tinted glass. So yeah, I think that's what we need to do. So we'll get that, go search for those, and if not, order some up. Alright, so the cable combs and the RGB magnetic kit are here, so why don't we get these installed so we can get some finished shots of this completed build. Okay, well, we got the cables all looking nice, got the combs all on there. I think that looks a lot better now. Didn't bother doing the 8-pin cable up there because, yeah, I'd have to take the whole water cooler out and whatnot, and I don't feel like doing that, so no. But, unfortunately, as usual, I try to do one simple thing, add an RGB strip, and it turns into a whole thing. So, this doesn't work. 100% broken. Where's the camera lens? There we go. Yep. It came with that broken off, so that's useless to me. So then I thought, okay, well, I guess I'll just do it with the SATA ports and whatnot. But nope. This thing right here is 100% broken. Like, unless you jam it, it only goes in that far, and even if you jam it in all the way, it still doesn't make the cable light up. So, broken. So then that leaves me with plugging this directly into the motherboard. And then if you do that, we're not going to actually do it while the computer's on, but yeah, now we run into this. Yeah, that looks real good, doesn't it? Oh yeah, awesome. So no, I guess we're just not doing an RGB. We'll just send that back to Cable Mod. It's a real shame too. I bought a lot of Cable Mod stuff in the past, and I've never had a problem with any of it. I guess I just got a little screwed on this particular one, but hey, whatever. The heck, is that all bent? Here we go. Case looked a little bent down there. Bent it back into place. I don't know how that happened. Anyway, though, I'd say this computer is all totally done, so why don't we just get a complete montage to show off it all up and close. say build complete. I'm still going to do a little bit of stability testing. I have clocked the CPU up to 5 gigahertz because that's what he's always wanted. Before his old motherboard or something. Actually, it wasn't even the motherboard. We found out it was just the cooler. His old cooler was a single 120 all-in-one from iBuy Power. You know, it's probably the exact same thing as like a Corsair H60 or something. You know, just one single fan, not even an extra thick one. It's just this tiny little thin radiator. So even though the fans were in push-pull, I just don't think it could handle all the heat because it takes 1.4 volts to stay stable. And this, luckily though, this Arctic cooler has no problem keeping it cool. I think the hottest I've ever seen it after letting Cinebench R23 run for about 6 hours is it got up to 85C on like the 6th core, I believe. All the rest of them were in the lower 80s, like 81, 82, 80. So that's plenty fine for full load. During games, it's more like 60 degrees, 60, 65. Heck, it runs cooler than my computers do. At least at full load, almost. I think my main rig gets up to 81C once the room gets up to about 85 Fahrenheit, and my other computer gets up to, yeah, about the same temps, and that's got a triple radiator in it. So this little 6-core is doing all right. Anyway, I'm kind of just rambling. I'm gonna take me a quick victory hit because I deserve it, even though the RGB strips broke. Eastside OG. Delicious. But anyway, that's another computer complete. I hope my friend enjoys it. He doesn't really like being on camera, so I don't know if I can, at the end of the video, add on a little reaction video, but I'll try. But if not, anyway, till the next video, peace out, guys.